Hi guys, hope this video finds you really well and that you're having a wonderful day. I have got two reasons for you today that might be keeping you from 100% believing that you have ADHD, and this will relate to you if you're starting to think, oh, I might have ADHD, and then you think up of all the reasons why you might not have ADHD. You might even have been long diagnosed like me and still think to yourself, do I really have ADHD? Am I just kind of putting it on a little bit? Like maybe I don't need all these supports. So anyway, I came up with actually 4 reasons, put it all in a video like a long time ago, like a year ago. And it ended up being like a 45-minute video. So I have finally gotten around to editing, and I'm just turning it into 2 videos. So this is part 1, and it includes 2 reasons. Reason number 1 involves, to be honest, I don't know. ADHD brain. I can't think what the reasons are. You'll just have to watch. You'll just have to watch what my conversation was at the time. So here goes. Enjoy. Whether you actually have ADHD or not, this phase of the ADHD journey seems to be common across the board. And I will tell you now also that even 4 years on, after discovering my own ADHD, even 2 years on after being diagnosed with ADHD, I still experience this level of doubt about whether I really do have ADHD or not. Unfortunately, it again is a common thread, a common experience to always come back to that doubt. By the very nature of having an ADHD brain, we therefore always experience that. And I have found in my own journey that I've always got to try and remind myself that I really do have ADHD, that I'm not 100% normal, for lack of a better explanation there, and that it's okay. So let's talk about where you're at, which is that you're really not sure at this point. You may or may not have ADHD. Now, that is absolutely a valid and worthy experience to sit in, because coincidentally, many of the ADHD symptoms, this is some sort of just professional knowledge that's out there, many of ADHD symptoms are similar to PTSD or CPTSD symptoms. People who come from trauma, whether they have CPTSD or PTSD or not, also can exhibit similar symptoms. And then at the end of the very day, people who are very, very, very stressed without having any of those things can also present with similar symptoms to ADHD. So that makes it really difficult, 100%, to know 100%. ADHD in and of itself, on its own, is, from what I can gather, difficult to diagnose to begin with, especially by the time a person has reached adulthood, and especially for women, especially for girls. So that's what makes it really hard. So she then took a long time to write up a report. She finally called me in to hand me the big report, which you saw, which was like yay thick, many pages. I've ended up discovering through that I'm apparently near genius level when it comes to language and writing and expression and all of that kind of thing, which is kind of really cool to know. Apparently I'm really above average clever with maths and stuff, and I was like, that's kind of really cool to know as well, but I'm 40 years old now, so who cares? But you know, you kind of want to hear that when you're in high school and you think you're dumb. Anyways, so now in the end, she said to me that the way she worked out, like the way she worked out, the way she was able to kind of overcome that part of her struggle was concluding that I must have come up with many and very good self-accommodations in my lifetime, which I totally believe. I know, I like when she said that, I went, oh, well, yeah, of course I have. Like, I've had to, kind of thing. Like, so, and then since then, I've been able to think about all the self-accommodations that I do have, and I go, oh, well, yeah, I do actually do all right because I have these self-accommodations that I've kind of created since childhood for myself. But at the same time, also, I don't live the cookie cutter life that most people live, because I don't hold a 9-to-5 job, and I don't have the school run to do anymore. Like, we live a very alternative lifestyle that happens to really suit my ADHD really, really well. So I see myself as living a very ADHD-friendly life. So you may have come up with, say you have it, you may have come up with numerous self-accommodations as well, right? Where I wanted to go from there was I wanted to talk about the ADHD version of masking, which I believe is vastly different to ASD masking. I have yet to come across any video on YouTube that will make that differentiation, but I am making that differentiation. The reason why I make the differentiation between ASD masking and ADHD masking is because an ASD version of masking is because the person with ADHD, and you know that I identify with a lot of ASD traits as well. So you may understand that I'm kind of coming from a personal experience viewpoint with both ADHD masking and ASD masking. I hope that I have the authority. No, not authority. I don't know, experience. That's really all it is, just personal experience to talk about this. So I find that with ASD masking, the person, or myself, I'll just talk about myself. I have literally in life, not known what the rules are at times about different things in life. What's expected under this circumstance, or what the behavioral expectations should be under that other circumstance, or when I walk through that building, what do I do? Like, legit no concept of what could be done. I have experienced that actually many more times in my life than I ever realized. So, and I would say that's probably one of my ASD traits. And what I have done at such times is literally observed. And I've always observed. I observed all through school, observed other kids, observed other girls, observed other, I went to uni, observed other people there. In the workforce, I observed, and just soaked up, like, as in learned all the ways to be under all the different circumstances. Went to private school, I was one person. Went to state school, I became a different person. Went back to private school, oh dear, I have to kind of change now back to what it's like to be a private school kid. Then I went to uni. Well, what's cool, what's not? How to study, because it's different to studying in high school. Like, I don't know, all those things. Of course, these are things that everyone has to learn. But yeah, there's a certain part of you that just has no idea. And so you observe, and you learn, right? then I worked in the corporate scene, and it was like, okay, let's how do people behave? Oh, this is how they behave. This is how they speak. This is what they're wearing. I'll start wearing the same thing, you know, all of that kind of thing. I am a believer to a certain extent that that's just what you need to do in life, but whatever, that's a whole other topic, I guess. Now, with ADHD masking, it's, in my experience, it's not that you have no clue as to how to behave under certain circumstances. It's more that you will just be who you are, and suddenly you're getting reactions that don't quite make sense. So it could be faces being pulled at you. It could be conversations suddenly coming to an end. It could be someone's like, oh, shh, like, oh, you're being embarrassing, you know. And you really get this sense of like, okay, whatever I just did, or whatever I just said was really inappropriate. So I'm just going to dial it right back. And that's kind of like the ADHD version of masking. So you start dialing, you start muting, but you definitely know the behavior that that was too much, and so you start muting. I feel like that light looks like a random hair sticking out of my head, so I keep looking at it. I need to cover it. There we go. Yeah, and I feel that that's very, very different to the ASD version of masking. So I wanted to talk about that as well, because these self-accommodations that my psychologist told me that I have obviously come up with, and therefore made it difficult for her to actually diagnose my ADHD, is not masking. Well, I hope you certainly enjoyed that. I hope that it was a bit informational and educational and helpful to you. So if you're on that kind of journey, I hope that I've given you some food for thought, or something to go away, maybe journal about, or maybe I've encouraged you to take the next step and make some inquiries for yourself. And I hope all up that you can gain clarity for your personal journey. Okay, bye.